Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Cartier Tank Francaise watch in medium size with a quartz movement in yellow gold. It has two reference numbers because they changed them. I'll explain it in just a moment. First reference is WGTA0113. The second reference number is WGTA0345. I will talk to you about the case bezel dial bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start first with this strange reference number issue. Cartier changed their reference numbers occasionally, and as I understand, after having called the Cartier store, these two references are the same, but they're different, but for the same watch. Why? They gave me some kind of story. I don't care to repeat it, but basically they changed the reference numbers, and that's what it is. So as of something like early or mid 2024, they changed the reference numbers for these. Now it's the same watch, same case, same movement, same dial, everything is the same except the reference number has changed. Why exactly they do that? Okay, I'm not really I'm not so sold on his answer, but anyways, they do that, so that's what it is. Okay, so you can be rest assured if you buy either of those references, it's still the same watch. Okay, now let's talk about the watch itself. So the Tank Francaise, it's one of, if not Cartier's most recognizable shapes. Now Cartier does an excellent job of making really interesting shaped watches. Of all the watchmakers, I would have to say Cartier does the most interesting case shapes of any major manufacturer. If you compare them to, for example, Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, or Rolex, none of those other brands I just told you about make such interesting cases. And let me give you an example. The Cartier makes the Tank, which is what you see in front of you. It's sort of this rectangle shape. They also make a Santos, which is a square. And then they make a Panther, which is also a square, but smaller square. And then they make this Ballon Bleu, or they call it Ballon de Cartier, and it's a circle, but it's a circle with the crown inside that circle. So it's a very interesting circle, not just any circle. So they managed to make a circle very interesting. And then they do the elongated circle, kind of like an oval, which is called a Baganor. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrect, something like that. And then they do a regular circle, which they call the ronde. And then they make a bunch of other ones, the Pasha, which also has an interesting case, and they make some jewelry ones and blah, blah, blah. But the point being is those cases that I all mentioned to you, they're all different. Whereas Rolex does only circular watches. They don't do any square one. They actually did a few square ones before. Their Prince in the Cellini and a few other square ones. And they even, oh, by the way, Cartier also makes this melted looking one. I forgot the name of it, but it's very interesting. It looks like like an ice cube that melted or something. But anyways, the other brands don't do these funky colors. Well, they don't do them in as big of a frequency as Cartier. All right, anyways, that's a little bit about the history and where this watch kind of stands in the lineup of other Cartiers. Okay, so this one is a Tank. Now the Tank itself, it is, as I said, it's probably their most recognizable. Although it's hard to say because Cartier is making so many different Tank, or so many different variations. For the Tank variations, they then break it down into the American and the Francais and the Tank Louise or Louis, the Tank Must, so on and so forth. So much so that they actually have 56 different Tank variations, all basically with this rectangular shape. Okay, now we're going to focus in on the one that we have in front of us, which is the Francais. Now, why exactly it's called Francais, I'm not sure, but it is. And so let's focus on that one. The size of it, as you can imagine, they make small, medium, large. Small for ladies, medium could also be for ladies, could actually also be for men too, depends, that's why it's a medium. And then large, mostly for men. Okay, but at any rate, what you're looking at here in front of you is a medium, and it's also in yellow gold. Okay, so let's start talking about the watch itself. That's enough about the history. Now let's start talking about let's start with the case. Okay, the dimensions is 32 millimeters from top to bottom. That means from the 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, from lug to lug, that means until the bracelet meets, it's 32 millimeters. Now, just to give you some reference, like a really big Richard Mille will be 50 millimeters. So 32 is quite a bit smaller than that. It's a lot smaller than that. So it's not a very big watch. It's not really intended to be. I mean, women can easily wear this. It's a very nice size actually for women. 32 millimeters. 27 millimeters going left to right. That means from the 3 o'clock to the 9 o'clock, it's 27 millimeters. And that also is just to give you some reference, you know, a lady's date just, the smallest one is 28 millimeters. So it's a small watch. It's medium, even though it's medium, it's not that big. But that's the style. You know, Cartier does very petite, beautiful timepieces, just like they do jewelry, and actually men can also wear this medium, believe it or not, but women can too. Okay. All right, anyways, that's the dimensions, all right? And then if you flip it on its side, you look at the thickness. It's only 7 millimeters thick. That is really thin. And the reason they are able to accomplish this thin 7 millimeters is not because they put an automatic movement. They didn't. They put a quartz movement. Had they put an automatic movement, it would have been more expensive and also thicker. So they went with a quartz movement, which allowed them to make it thin like this. So it looks, in some ways, almost looks like a piece of jewelry. Very beautiful jewelry, but it also tells time. And I just want to give you a little, I just thought of this, you know, another brand that does very petite, similar bracelet style quartz watches is Audemars Piguet. Audemars Piguet released a ultra tiny mini Royal Oak that is quartz run. So it's kind of like a bracelet, but the head has a quartz movement which turns it into a watch. So you're kind of blurring the lines between jewelry and watches. And I think in this situation, Cartier is also doing that, albeit at a lower price point. The retail price on this is $26,000. We are selling it at jazztime.com in the low 20s. So it's quite it's not bad, considering like a love bracelet is like, you know, $7,000-$8,000. Pay a little bit more and you can get a full watch. And it can also double as a bracelet. Okay, anyways, that's the case, all right, guys? So what else is notable about the case is that it's in beautiful yellow gold. Cartier actually calls this golden sun. Actually, I'm sorry, that's the dial. Sorry, they put this yellow gold. And let me point out a few other things since we're talking about the case. The crown here, this is typical Cartier actually. They've been doing this for a long time. I'll point it out anyways. They use this faceted crown in 18 karat yellow gold with a decorated sapphire cabochon. So basically this blue sapphire here at the end of it. Okay, very nice touch. It's a classic Cartier. It's I think it looks fantastic. I like it. Instead of just putting a crown on there and going, here you go. I mean, if you're paying $26,000 or at less than that at Jazz Time, at least you could put some kind of emerald or something on it, and they do. They put a blue cabochon. I don't know what a cabochon is. Is that a sapphire or is that a fancy name for a sapphire? I mean, it looks like a sapphire, so I'm going to call it a sapphire here. Okay, anyways, that's what it is. All right, and part of the nice thing is when you flip it on its side and look at the side profile, you'll notice that the links of the watch and the head of the watch are actually about the same. I would say the links are around 6 millimeters, the head is around 7, but more or less it's the same. So that really allows this watch to look like a bracelet, whereas on most watches, there are usually around 8 millimeters or larger. That's thin, or you know, you usually have a head that's much thicker, so it actually looks like a watch. In this case, it actually can be really worn like a bracelet, and a lot of women, you know, don't really wear the watch for telling time per se. They use it more for jewelry, and this would be a perfect example of that. A very luxurious one, and at the same time, it's not breaking the bank. It's $20,000. Yeah, it's not small money, but you know, some people can afford it. You know, it's not no $50,000, $100,000 like an Patek or an AP. All right, and it still achieves a lot of the same effect. Okay, now let's move on to the dial here. Now the dial, they are only doing this configuration medium with its yellow gold, at least as of 2024 with this dial. Now this dial, it looks a little bit silvery. Cartier calls it a golden sunray dial with blue steel sword hands. So they're calling it a golden sunray dial. I just call it silver. It looks silver to me. So yeah, it's a really nice dial. The sunray finish means that it looks different in different light, and it has, of course, the standard, or I wouldn't say standard, I'd say the prestigious blue Cartier sword hands and the Roman numerals. Very indicative of Cartier. Let's move on to the movement. The bracelet here. The bracelet also, you know, all their Cartier Tank Francaise have this great bracelet. It's hard to miss. It's really nice, and I like how it butterfly opens like this. I feel it in my hands. It feels very smooth and luxurious, and yeah, it's just quite nice. Let's move on to the movement. The movement here is quartz. You can't see it anyways, which is why they don't do an exhibition case back on it. Okay, so there's not a whole lot to say other than you do have to change the battery, which is going to be a lot cheaper than if this watch was a quartz movement, or sorry, automatic movement, which would require you to actually change the battery, or service the watch, which is going to be quite costly. In this situation, the quartz almost never dies. You just simply go to a qualified watchmaker, remove the battery, change it, and every 2 years, it'll keep good time, and you don't have to wind it either. That's a good thing about it. And a lot of women don't wind their watches, and they just want to pick it up, put it on, and go. And that is why this watch really makes sense. Not only is it practical, it's beautiful, it comes from a name brand, and yeah, and by the way, you can buy it for less at jazztime.com. Okay, now let's go ahead and try this watch on. Now look, I'm obviously a man, and I have a bigger wrist. I'm going to recommend this watch for any woman with a wrist size of, let's say, 6 inches or smaller, or maybe 6.5 inches or smaller. That's going to be most women. And why do I say that? Well, if you have a wrist size bigger than that, probably you could go with a larger size. So actually that's going to fit most women anyways. So, but yeah, the Tank Francaise it's a classic, and a lot of people have it in steel, and that's for obvious reasons, that it's cheaper in steel. Not very many people have it in this prestigious gold, luxurious metal, but it is very beautiful in this metal. And if you are fortunate enough to be one of the persons that has enough money to spend on one of these watches, please spend it at Jazz Time, so you can at least save yourself a few bucks. Instead of paying full price plus tax, you can buy it for straight out the door in the low 20s at jazztime.com. So yeah, I like the watch. It's great, and please buy it from Jazz Time.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in Jazz Time, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.